Here are moments in life that don't just touch the heart, they break it open, wide enough for light to flood in. Tonight, I want you to feel that light. I want you to stand still, let the noise fall away, and open your soul to a moment that could change everything. You are not here by accident. You were brought here for a reason. Sometimes the most powerful words aren't shouted, they're whispered through tears. Sometimes the greatest strength is shown in surrender, in letting go, in saying, I believe, even when the world gave you every reason not to. This is not just another speech. This is an invitation. An invitation to witness a miracle, a testimony of a heart being reborn. Brace yourself, because what you are about to feel is real. There are moments in life when everything you thought you knew, every wall you built, every reason you clung to, suddenly crumbles in an instant. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. It's silent, almost sacred. A soft breaking inside your chest that feels like both the end and the beginning at once. The soul, battered by doubts, worn down by trials, thirsty from years of wandering, finally falls to its knees, even if your body. In that sacred silence, the heart hears what it's been searching for all along, the call of its creator. And it's not a call of anger or judgment. It's a call soaked in mercy, in love, so deep, so patient, that it overwhelms even the strongest resistance. It is the moment when you realize that the one you've been unknowingly reaching for in every success, every heartbreak, every lonely night has been waiting for you the entire time. When the soul recognizes its creator, it's like suddenly breathing after years of drowning. There's no need for fancy words. There's no need for explanations. The heart just knows. It knows that this presence, this love, has always been closer than your own breath. You don't need a scholar to explain it to you. You don't need a sign written in the sky. It's a knowing that runs deeper than thought, deeper than reason, deeper than any proof the world can offer. That you're so small is a sign that your truth's so real, so raw, that it humbles you to the core. Tears may come uninvited. Your hands may tremble, your voice may break, but the heart finally finds peace. Not the kind of peace the world talks about, not the shallow, temporary kind. This is peace that settles in your bones. This is peace that says you are home. It's strange how in that moment, every wound makes sense. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every door that slammed in your face. They weren't punishments. They were guideposts. They were the voice of your creator steering you even through the storms back to him. All the times you felt forgotten, you were being prepared. All the times you thought you were alone, you were being carried. It's overwhelming to realize how loved you have been even when you weren't looking in his direction. It shatters the lie that you were ever abandoned. In fact, if you listen closely enough, you can almost hear it. The whisper you missed all those years. I was always with you. I never left. There is a humility that floods you in that moment, a humility that no sermon could ever teach. It's the humility of being small and yet infinitely valued. It's the humility of realizing you own nothing, and yet you are cared for beyond measure. It's the collapse of ego, the end of self-worship. Suddenly you see clearly, you are not the center of the universe. You are not in control. And strangely, it's not terrifying. It's freeing to realize you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. To know that there is one who is bigger, wiser, stronger, and he has never once let you go. It doesn't feel like losing control. It feels like finally resting in the arms of the one who always had it. Some describe the moment like a light switching on after living for years in darkness. But it's more than just seeing, it's feeling, it's belonging, it's remembering something your soul always knew, but your mind had forgotten. The soul recognizing its creator is the ultimate homecoming. It's not about religion versus religion. It's not about rules versus rules. It's deeper than that. It's your soul whispering, I know you. I've missed you. It's a reunion after a lifetime apart. And in that reunion, pride melts away. Fear melts away. the need to be seen, the need to be approved, the need to be perfect. It all falls at his feet. Because when you are seen by the one who made you, no other validation matters. And you realize something else, something that shakes you to your core. You were made for him. You weren't made to chase fame, money, pleasure, or power. You weren't made to endlessly run on a treadmill that never leads to happiness. You were crafted, shaped, and brought into existence by a hand that loved you before you ever took your first breath. And all the longing, all the aching you've ever felt was your soul crying for what it was separated from. People think homesickness is about missing a place, but the deepest homesickness is the soul missing its creator. And when that recognition happens, the homesickness ends. You are found. You are known. You are loved with a love that will never be measured by human standards. In that sacred encounter, you realize faith isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about coming with your bruises, your scars, your sins, and offering them to the one who can heal what no one else can touch. You realize that your past doesn't disqualify you, it prepares you. Every wrong turn, every fall, every regret brought you to your knees before the throne of mercy. And what you find there isn't shame, it's forgiveness. What you find there isn't rejection, it's a welcome home. The shame you carried, the mistakes that haunted you, the regrets that kept you awake at night, they are washed away like footprints in the sand when the tide comes in. You are not your mistakes. You are not your failures. You are who he says you are. Worthy, loved, redeemed. And maybe the most beautiful part is this: it doesn't require grandeur. It doesn't require a perfect setting or perfect words. The most powerful moment of recognition can happen in an empty room, in a quiet car ride, in a tear-stained prayer whispered through broken sobs. It can happen at the end of a rope or at the beginning of a new chapter. The circumstances don't matter. What matters is the heart's cry, and his answer, always tender, always ready. I am here. He was never lost, you were, and he never stopped calling your name. His love is patient enough to wait a lifetime, if that's what it takes. And when your soul finally turns toward him, he doesn't say, "Where have you been?" He says, "Welcome back." There is a sacredness in tears that words can never fully capture. They rise not from weakness, but from a place too deep for speech. When a soul stands at the crossroads of surrender and recognition, it doesn't always respond with eloquence or grand gestures. It responds with tears. Tears are the first language of faith, spoken before the mind can form the right sentences. They are the evidence of a heart touched by something greater than itself. In a world that teaches us to be strong, to be stoic, to hold it together at all costs, tears feel like rebellion. But in truth, they are the soul's purest form of worship. Every tear shed in awe, in repentance, in longing is a prayer without words. It is the soul breaking free from pride, from fear, from the need to appear invincible. Tears testify to a love too vast to be contained, a mercy too overwhelming to be measured. Tears don't weaken you, they clean you. They strip away the layers of numbness and reveal the rawness of your need for God. They show that beneath the armor you wear for the world, your heart still beats tenderly for something higher, something eternal. Every tear that falls from your eyes during a prayer, during a moment of realization, during a whisper of repentance, carries with it a piece of your soul being stitched back together. It is in those moments of unguarded emotion that heaven leans closer, that your heart speaks a truth your lips could never express. Faith is not just about standing tall. Sometimes it's about falling apart in the safest arms you could ever fall into. You see, the world measures strength by how little you show, but God measures strength by how much you're willing to surrender. And surrender often looks like tears you can't stop, even if you try. It's the body's way of expressing what the spirit already knows, that you are not enough on your own, but you are enough in his eyes. It's an admission of helplessness, but not hopelessness. It's recognizing that you were never meant to carry it all alone. Every tear shed in honesty and yearning and brokenness becomes a seed planted in the soil of faith. And God in his infinite mercy collects each tear. Not a single one is wasted. Not a single drop falls unnoticed. They water the garden of your soul, And from them, new life springs forth, stronger, purer, and more real than anything you could have built without them. When tears come in worship, they are not weakness. They are worship in its rawest form. They are gratitude and regret, love and fear, awe and unworthiness, all swirling together until the dam breaks and the heart can no longer contain them. They are a sign that your heart still feels, still believes, still hopes, even when life has tried to harden it. They are a bridge between heaven and earth, a connection between the seen and the unseen. In the presence of the divine, tears are not embarrassing. They are expected. They are the natural reaction to standing in front of a love so perfect, so all-encompassing, that it exposes every flaw, every crack, and still chooses to embrace you. You cry not because you are forsaken, but because you are found. You cry not because you are judged, but because you are forgiven beyond understanding. Many people think that faith looks like confidence, like certainty without cracks. But real faith often looks messy. It looks like shaking hands, trembling lips, and tear-streaked faces, whispering, "I believe, help my unbelief." Real faith is not sanitized, it's not polished, it's honest, and honesty often comes with tears. Tears confess what pride never could, that you are desperate for your Creator, that without Him, you are lost. And God in His kindness honors that desperation. He welcomes those broken cries more than the most eloquent speeches. He doesn't need perfect words from you. He needs a heart willing to be real. And nothing is more real than the tears you try to hide. Every tear is an act of trust. Trust that He will hear you. Trust that He will understand. Trust that He will answer in ways beyond what you can imagine. There's a reason why some of the most powerful prayers ever prayed were bathed in tears. Not because the tears manipulate God, but because they reveal the depth of the connection. A tearful prayer is a soul stripped of performance, stripped of pretense, laid bare before the Creator. It's the ultimate vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, miracles happen. Hearts are softened, chains are broken, new paths are revealed. Healing begins. The tears you shed today are not a sign of defeat. They are a sign that the battle is raging and that victory is near. They mean your heart has not given up. They mean you are still reaching out, still believing that He is near, that He is listening, that He cares enough to catch each falling tear in His hands. What the world calls breaking down, heaven calls rising up. Tears remind you that you are human. They remind you that you were made to feel, made to need, made to be connected to something greater than yourself. They strip away the illusions of control and independence we so tightly cling to. In crying, there is an acknowledgement that we are small and yet somehow immeasurably loved. And isn't that what faith is at its core? Not that we are perfect or powerful, but that despite our imperfection and powerlessness, we are held by a grace bigger than we can fathom. Tears do not make you fragile. They make you fearless, because only the brave are willing to step into the fire of real feeling, real longing, real love. Only the brave dare to let themselves be seen by the one who sees all, knowing they will be accepted, not rejected. If you find yourself crying in moments of prayer, in moments of awe, in moments of surrender, know this: you are not falling apart, you are falling into place. You are aligning yourself with the deepest truths your soul has always known. You are speaking the first language of faith, a language older than words, older than fear, older than doubt. You are touching something eternal, and while the world may never understand, heaven rejoices. The angels witness your tears and know that something holy is unfolding. You are not weak. You are not broken beyond repair. You are being rebuilt, reshaped, refined through each tear you shed. And in the sacred arithmetic of heaven, every tear counts. Every tear matters. And every tear will one day be answered with a joy so profound, so complete, that you will look back and understand every tear was worth it. We are taught to fight. From the moment we can walk, the world tells us to push harder, stand taller, never back down. We are told that surrender is defeat, that giving up control is weakness. But what if real strength begins at the moment we let go? What if true power is found not in fighting against life, but in surrendering to something greater than ourselves. There is a sacred kind of falling, not the falling of failure or shame, but the falling of a soul that has finally had enough of carrying the weight alone. It's the moment you collapse into the arms of your Creator, tired of pretending to have it all together. It's not a fall that ends you. It's a fall that saves you. In surrender, there is a power the world cannot offer. It's the power of knowing you don't have to be your own savior. You were never meant to be. Surrender is not quitting. Surrender is trusting. It's looking at the shattered pieces of your plans and still believing that beauty can rise from the ruins. It's standing in the wreckage of your dreams and saying, I don't understand, but I trust you. The greatest victories in life are often born from the deepest surrenders. When you finally stop clenching your fists, when you stop trying to force life to bend to your will, make room for God to step in and do what you could never do on your own. It is terrifying at first to open your hands, to let go of the illusion of control. But as you do, a peace settles in. A peace that doesn't make sense to the world, but makes perfect sense to your soul. In surrender, you don't lose yourself. There is a hidden strength in admitting you can't do it alone. The world may tell you to keep fighting, to never show weakness, but faith tells a different story. Faith whispers, fall into grace. Let yourself be caught. True surrender is not about giving up on your dreams. It's about giving up the burden of trying to achieve them by your own limited strength. It's realizing that the dreams placed in your heart were never meant to be carried alone. Every tear you shed when you let go, every breath you take in the quiet after the struggle, these are the first steps toward rising again. Not rising in pride, not rising in self-sufficiency, but rising in the strength of the one who holds the universe in his hands. And when you rise this time, it's different. You rise lighter, you rise freer, you rise carried by a power that never fails. Oh, it's a paradox. To rise, you must first fall. To gain everything, you must first give everything up. The ones who surrender are not the ones who lost the battle. They are the ones who finally realize they were never meant to fight alone. Imagine the strength it takes to say, I can't, and to hand over the fight to someone who can. That is courage, that is wisdom. And it is in that moment of surrender that you become truly unshakable. Not because you have all the answers, but because you are anchored in the one who does. Falling to rise again is the story of every soul that has dared to trust in something greater. It's the story of every heart that has broken and in its breaking found the path home. You don't fall to stay down. You fall so you can be lifted higher than you ever could have climbed alone. The power of surrender is that it breaks the chains of pride that keep you trapped. Pride says, I have to figure it out myself. Pride says, I must be strong enough on my own. But surrender says, I was never meant to carry this alone. And the moment you admit that, the chains fall off, the burden lifts, you realize that there is a difference between giving up and giving in. Giving up is despair, giving in is faith. Giving into God's plan doesn't mean abandoning all hope. It means placing your hope in the only place it was ever meant to be. Surrender isn't the end of your strength, it's the beginning of real strength. A strength that doesn't depend on circumstances, that doesn't rise and fall with your emotions. It's a strength rooted in a foundation that can never be shaken, no matter what storms come. Falling to rise again is not something to fear, it's something to honor. Every great transformation begins with a breaking. A seed must fall into the earth and break open before it can grow into something beautiful. The same is true for your life. Your fall is not your end, it's your planting. It's the beginning of something new, something stronger, something that will bear fruit in ways you can't even imagine yet. When you surrender, when you allow yourself to fall into God's hands, you are not burying yourself, you are planting yourself in His purpose, and in time you will rise, not as you were before, but as someone who has been refined by the fire of surrender and strengthened by the hands of mercy. There is no shame in falling when the fall leads to flight. There is no loss in surrender when it leads to true victory. The world may not understand your surrender. They may see your fall and think you failed, but you will know the truth. You will know that in that fall, you found the arms of the only one who could truly hold you. You will know that your surrender was not a sign of defeat, but a doorway into a life more abundant than you dared hope for. You will walk lighter because you're no longer carrying the impossible load of trying to control everything. You will breathe deeper because you know the outcome doesn't depend solely on your strength. You will love freer because you trust that you are already fully loved, even when you stumble. The power of surrender is the power to live without fear, to move forward without being paralyzed by what you can't control, and to trust that every fall is a chance to rise again, higher, freer, and closer to your Creator. There is a kind of beauty that only broken things know. Every scar you carry, every wound you hide, every dream you thought had died, if they were not wasted, they were preparing you, they were shaping you. Life has a way of taking what seems shattered beyond repair and weaving it into a story more powerful than if the pieces had never been broken. You may not have understood it while you were in it, the nights you cried yourself to sleep, the moments you questioned your worth, the days when hope felt so far away, none of it was meaningless. Every disappointment was a lesson, every heartbreak was a redirection, every closed door was a whisper from God saying, not this way, but trust me. You stand today not in spite of your scars, but because of them. They are the map of your survival, the proof of your resilience. It's a quiet testimony that you didn't just endure, you grew. When dreams break, they break loudly. They crash into your life, scattering pieces of your hope across the floor. It feels like betrayal. It feels like failure. But broken dreams are often the only way to make room for the dreams that are truly meant for you. Sometimes God has to break your dream to save you from living a life too small for your purpose. Sometimes He has to allow the shattering so that your hands are finally free to receive what your heart truly needs. Every tear you cried over what you lost was watering the seeds of something greater. You couldn't see it then. You only saw the emptiness, the confusion, the loss. But something was happening in the unseen. You were being prepared. You were being molded. The broken places were becoming the strongest parts of you. And now, if you look closely, you'll see you were never abandoned. You were being led. About. Scars tell a story the unbroken will never understand. They are not signs of weakness. They are signs of battles fought and survived. They are the places where the light gets in. Without them, your story would be incomplete. Without them, you wouldn't have the depth of compassion you carry now, the wisdom that can only be born from real pain. Every wound taught you something precious about perseverance, about humility, about grace. Every time you were knocked down and got back up, something inside you grew stronger, steadier. Those moments when you thought you had lost everything were actually the moments you were gaining everything that matters most. The pain carved space inside you, space big enough to hold more love, more understanding, more courage than you ever thought possible. You are not the same as you were before the breaking. You are more. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be. It's easy to look back at the ruins and feel only sadness. But if you look deeper, with eyes of faith, you'll see fingerprints of grace all over your story. You'll see how every broken dream protected you from settling for less. How every wound made you more tender to the struggles of others. How every scar became a reminder that healing is possible. You'll realize that the life you're living now, the strength you walk with now, the wisdom you speak with now, were all purchased through those painful, precious moments of breaking. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Every detour, every delay, every heartbreak was a step on the road that led you here. And here is not an accident. Here is sacred. Here is exactly where you were meant to be. You have been carried even when you thought you were crawling. You have been guided even when you felt lost. The hardest moments of your life are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of a deeper chapter. A chapter where you discover that resilience isn't about never breaking. It's about finding the strength to rise again and again, even when it hurts. Every time your heart broke, it made more room inside you for what truly matters. Every time you let go of a dream that wasn't meant for you, you made space for the dreams that were. The journey wasn't meant to destroy you, it was meant to reveal you, the real you, the stronger you, the wiser you, the more faithful you. You are standing on the other side of battles you once thought you wouldn't survive, and yet, here you are. Not just surviving, but becoming. Your scars do not diminish you, they illuminate you. They are the evidence that grace has carried you through. When you finally stop seeing your scars as shame and start seeing them as badges of honor, everything changes. You stop hiding. You stop apologizing for your story. You realize that every chapter, even the painful ones, are sacred parts of your journey. You are not defined by the moments you were broken. You were defined by the moments you chose to heal, to hope, to believe again. The broken pieces were not the end. They were the materials God used to build a stronger foundation inside you. You are not fragile. You are forged. Forged in the fire of heartbreak, disappointment, and loss, and yet somehow you came out shining. Every wound you thought would be your undoing has become a place of strength. Every broken dream you thought was the end has been transformed into a doorway to something greater. You are living proof that nothing is wasted when placed in the hands of the Creator. It's easy to curse the hard seasons, to wish them away. But one day you'll look back and bless them. You'll see that the nights you thought would break you were the nights that built your faith. The losses you thought would leave you empty were the losses that taught you how to be filled with what truly matters. You'll realize that every scar was a teacher, every wound a turning point, every broken dream a blessing in disguise. And you'll stand stronger, taller, wiser, not in spite of the breaking, but because of it. You were not abandoned in your pain. You were being remade. Every piece of your story has led you here to a place of deeper purpose, deeper compassion, deeper faith. You are not who you were before the storms. You are better, you are bolder, you are braver, and the beauty that shines from you now was born in the places where you thought you were broken beyond repair. Shahada is more than words whispered by trembling lips. It is the cry of a soul waking up after years of sleep. It's not just a sentence. It's a heartbeat returning. It's life flooding into places that had long been empty, broken, and dry. When a person says the Shahada, they are not simply declaring belief. They are choosing to breathe again, to see again, to truly live for the first time. It is a resurrection of spirit, the moment when the soul finally recognizes where it has always belonged. In those sacred words, everything changes. The chains fall off. The heart, heavy with sin and sorrow, is lifted into a mercy so vast, so beautiful, that it can hardly be understood. The Shahada is the beginning of everything new. To moments when all the shame, all the regret, all the despair is washed away, and the only thing left standing is a soul clothed in forgiveness, wrapped in light, reborn in the mercy of its Creator. You don't just say the Shahada, you are reborn through it. It is the bridge between who you were and who you are meant to be. It is the loud, defiant proclamation that your past no longer owns you. It is the soft, trembling whisper that your future is cradled in the hands of the most merciful. When you say those words, you're not just entering a faith. You are stepping into a family, into a purpose, into a life that was waiting for you all along. The moment the Shahada leaves your lips, the unseen world celebrates. Angels bear witness, the heavens rejoice, because a soul has returned home, not in defeat, but in triumph, not in shame, but in honor. It's not the end of your story, it's the true beginning. Resurrection doesn't always look like rising in glory. Sometimes it looks like falling to your knees, trembling, broken, yet completely seen and still completely loved. The Shahada welcomes you not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Willing to believe, willing to hope, willing to be transformed. In that sacred moment, you are given a new name, a new identity. Not one shaped by your failures, but by your faith. You are no longer who the world said you were. You are who God says you are, forgiven, honored, chosen. The power of the Shahada is not in how loud you say it or how perfect you pronounce it. The power is in the heart that means it. A heart ready to surrender. A heart ready to trust. A heart ready to be raised from the ashes of a life lived without knowing the one who created it. With such careful, endless love, the Shahada is not a ritual to check off. It is a revolution in the soul. It's not about impressing anyone. It's not about fitting into a mold. It's about breaking free free from the lies that you are alone, free from the burden that you have to earn your worth, free from the guilt that says your mistakes define you. When you declare that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger, you are aligning your life with eternal truth. You are choosing light over darkness, hope over despair, faith over fear. You are allowing the maker of your soul to take his rightful place at the center of your being. And once you do that, nothing stays the same. Your past is rewritten with mercy. Your future is rewritten with promise. Your present is filled with a peace the world cannot understand. This is the resurrection of your heart. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, weary and worn, not knowing where to go. And then someone extends their hand and says, "Come home." That is what the Shahada is, an invitation to return to the one who never left you. You may have wandered, you may have fallen, you may have even given up, but he never did. The moment you say those sacred words, all the distance you thought separated you from him vanishes. You are not merely forgiven, you are honored. You are not merely accepted, you are celebrated. The Shahada is the bridge back to everything your soul has been aching for. It is not just a new chapter, it is a whole new life. A life rooted in purpose, bathed in grace, wrapped in the kind of love that never gives up and never lets go. You are resurrected, not into perfection, but into endless possibility. You may still carry the scars of your journey. You may still remember the moments when you almost gave up. But after the Shahada, those scars no longer tell a story of defeat. They tell a story of redemption. Every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered when you thought no one was listening, they were all leading here. They were all preparing you for this moment of rebirth. You are not starting over empty. You are starting over full. Full of experience, full of wisdom, full of compassion for those still searching. The Shahada doesn't erase your past. It redeems it. It transforms every mistake into a stepping stone toward a greater purpose. It gives meaning to every valley you walk through. It breathes life into every dry place in your heart. You are not who you were before. You are more. You are new. You are a living proof that resurrection is real. The beauty of the Shahada is that it doesn't just change your label, it changes your destiny. You are no longer wandering without a map. You have a guide. You have a purpose. You have a hope that doesn't falter with the winds of the world. And it doesn't matter if you still stumble sometimes. It doesn't matter if the road still gets rough. What matters is that your foundation has changed. You are rooted now, not in your own strength, but in the infinite mercy of God. The Shahada. Plant something in your soul. A seed that will grow into a faith that carries you through storms. A love that heals old wounds. A courage that keeps moving forward even when the path is unclear. Every step you take after that sacred moment is a step forward, even when it feels small, even when it feels hard. You are no longer alone, you are alive. There are moments when the silence feels deafening, when the prayers seem to vanish into the air, and the heart aches under the weight of feeling forgotten. We think God has gone quiet. We think he has turned his face away. He wasn't hiding from you. He was standing right where you left him, patient, loving, waiting. Waiting for the moment your heart would finally turn around, waiting for the day when the noise of the world would fade enough for you to hear his call again. Every breath you took in pain, every step you stumbled through, he was there, not distant, not detached, but near, closer than the very air you breathe, gently calling you home without forcing you, letting love, not fear, lead you back to him. Sometimes it takes hitting the very bottom for us to realize that God has been the foundation beneath our feet all along. It's not in the moment of ease that we often find him most deeply. It's in the breaking, the questioning, the desperate longing for something more. In those seasons when you felt most alone, he was nearer than ever. Wrapping you in a mercy you couldn't recognize at the time. He allowed the emptiness not because he wanted you to suffer, but because he wanted you to seek. He wanted you to thirst so deeply for peace that you would finally look up and find it in him. God doesn't force his way into our hearts. He waits for an invitation, a whisper, a surrender. And when you turn around, even the slightest movement of your heart, he rushes to meet you. Not with condemnation, not with anger, but with arms wide open, ready to welcome you home. We misunderstand God's silence. We confuse his patience for absence. But God's love is too pure, too patient, too full of grace to barge into a heart not ready to receive him. He waits with a longing deeper than we can imagine, aching for the moment we will finally realize that everything we have been searching for is found in him. Every broken relationship, every lost dream, every shattered hope was never proof of his distance. They were invitations. Invitations to turn around, invitations to come home, invitations to finally stop running and start resting. God doesn't measure your worth by your mistakes. He measures it by his mercy. No matter how far you think you've gone, no matter how long you've been away, the road back is never long. It's a single step, a single tear, a single prayer, whispered through brokenness. He's been there all along, whispering, I'm still here. I'm still yours. Just turn around. You didn't have to climb a mountain to find God. You didn't have to cross oceans or prove your worth. You simply had to turn your face back toward him. That's all it ever took. One honest moment of surrender. One raw prayer said through trembling lips. God is not a faraway judge waiting to punish. He is the loving Father running to meet you, lifting you before you can even finish your apology. He knows every reason you strayed. He knows every lie you believed about yourself. He knows how tired you are from trying to find meaning in things that could never satisfy your soul. And yet, he holds no resentment, no bitterness, only love, only forgiveness, only joy that you've turned back to him. Every step away you took didn't make him love you less. It made him wait longer. It made him plan greater, because his love is not based on your perfection, but on his own endless mercy. There's something powerful about realizing that you never had to earn your way back to God. You never had to be good enough or fixed enough to be welcomed home. He takes you as you are, broken pieces and all. In fact, he prefers it that way, because it's only when you come to him as you are, raw, wounded, humbled, that you're ready to receive the fullness of what he has been longing to give you. Your brokenness is not a barrier, it's a bridge. Your tears are not signs of failure, they are the watering of new beginnings. Every excuse you thought disqualified you was destroyed the moment you turned around. Every fear that said it's too late was silenced by his mercy. Every shame that told you you're too far gone was washed away by his grace. God was never looking for your perfection. He was waiting for your return. That's where resurrection begins. The enemy wants you to believe that you are too broken, too distant, too unworthy to ever be close to God again. But that's the greatest lie you'll ever hear. Because the truth is, you are never too far. You are never beyond reach. Every moment you thought you were walking alone, God was walking beside you, whispering to your heart, waiting for you to turn around. You are not disqualified by your past. You are qualified by his mercy. You are not rejected because of your mistakes. You are embraced because of his love. Turning around is not about shame. It's about freedom. It's not about punishment. It's about healing. It's not about fear. It's about homecoming. The very place you feared you'd be rejected is the place you will be most fully accepted. God's love isn't fragile. It's not fickle. It doesn't fade with your failures. It burns stronger with every step you take back toward him. It's humbling to realize that the God who created the heavens and the earth waits for us. He waits through our rebellion. He waits through our doubts. He waits through our wandering, not because he needs us, but because he wants us. Because his love is patient enough to withstand our running, because his mercy is deep enough to outlast our denial. God's waiting is not a passive thing. It's a pursuit. Every good thing you experienced, every blessing you didn't deserve, every breath you took without thanking him, all of it was him reaching out. All of it was him whispering, I still hear. I still love you. Come home. And the moment you turned around, you didn't find a God with arms crossed in judgment. You found a Father running, embracing, celebrating. No hesitation, no hesitation. Just love, just grace. Just a celebration louder than every failure you ever feared would define you. Victory is not always loud. It's not always paraded with banners or fireworks. Sometimes the greatest victory a human soul can achieve happens in silence, with trembling hands and tear-streaked faces, whispering words that change eternity. You are witnessing a soul that has fought through doubt, despair, pride, and fear, and has chosen surrender, chosen faith, chosen love. This isn't the victory the world praises. It's greater because it's a victory over self, over ego, over every lie that said you were not worthy of God's mercy. To watch a soul return to its creator is to watch a battle end, not with destruction, but with restoration. It's the sight of chains breaking and the weight of years falling off a heart ready to finally be free. No worldly success can match the magnitude of this moment. No trophy or medal could ever reflect the glory of a soul choosing light after walking through darkness. This is what real triumph looks like. And it is breathtaking. Every soul that stands at the edge of surrender carries scars, battles fought in private, wounds no one else could see. The world sees the outside, the mistakes, the stumbles, the moments of weakness. But God sees the war waged deep within. And when a soul chooses Him after everything, it is not weakness on display. It is the deepest kind of strength. It's the strength to say, I need you. It's the courage to say, I cannot save myself. It's the humility to accept a love so great it cannot be earned. That is victory. That is a resurrection from the ashes of pride and pain. You are witnessing a miracle, the rebirth of a soul. And make no mistake, heaven witnesses it too. Angels rejoice, mercy pours down. The unseen world erupts in celebration because one more soul has found its way home. One more heart has found its true own. This is the beauty of surrender. It is the most victorious thing you could ever do. It's easy to think that winning means standing taller than everyone else, louder, prouder, more powerful. But true victory is not about standing above others. It's about kneeling before your Creator. It's about realizing that real power comes from admitting your need for Him. Real strength is found in surrender, in knowing you cannot do it alone, and you were never meant to. When you witness someone say, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is His messenger, you are witnessing a soul shattering the illusions of this world. You are witnessing chains that have held for years breaking with a whisper. You are witnessing a heart step into light after wandering in shadow. This is not defeat. This is the greatest victory of all. It is a soul throwing down the weapons of pride and picking up the banner of faith. It is a heart declaring, I choose you, my Lord, above everything else. And there is no greater victory than that. The journey to this victory is often paved with nights of doubt, days of silence, and battles no one else can see. It's the quiet war inside, between fear and hope, between despair and belief. To finally choose faith is not to erase all the struggles, but to rise above them. It's to stand, trembling maybe, but standing still, and saying, I trust you more than I trust my fears. To witness a soul reaching this moment is to witness the culmination of countless unseen struggles, a lifetime of searching, a relentless pursuit of truth. It's not a moment of ease. It's a moment of deep bravery. Every whisper of self-doubt, every voice that said, you're not good enough, has been silenced by the voice of God saying, you are mine. This is the greatest victory because it is not just about now, it is about forever. It is the victory that echoes into eternity, written in the very fabric of the soul. There are moments that shift the course of an entire life. Moments when everything before seems like a long night and everything after feels like the breaking of dawn. This is that moment. You are witnessing the dawn in a soul that has battled the longest night. You are witnessing the first breath of a new life, the first step onto a road that leads not just to peace in this world, but to paradise in the next. Every broken dream, every unanswered prayer, every tear shed in silence, they were not wasted. They were leading here. They were preparing a heart to recognize that the only true victory is to belong fully, completely to the one who never stopped calling it back. The world may not understand it. The world may not see the magnitude of this victory, but heaven does. And somewhere deep in your own soul, if you listen closely, you recognize it too, because you were made for the same victory. Victory does not mean you will never stumble again. It does not mean the road ahead will be without trials. True victory is not the absence of struggle. It is the refusal to walk alone anymore. It is the decision to cling to God through every storm, to trust even when it hurts, to believe even when you cannot see. The soul that has declared faith has not finished its journey, it has begun it. But now, every step is taken with divine strength. Every fall is met with infinite mercy. Every cry for help is answered by the one who never tires of forgiving. To witness this is to witness hope in its purest form. It's to see that no matter how broken a person may feel, God can rebuild them stronger, more beautiful, more alive than ever before. This is not the end of pain, but it is the end of isolation. It is the beginning of walking every step with the one who holds the universe and your heart in his hands. If the world could truly see what happens to a soul at the moment of faith, it would fall silent in awe. If we could see the chains breaking, the heart healing, the angels writing a new name in the records of the righteous, we would never again underestimate the power of this victory. It is a rebirth that shakes the unseen world. It is a triumph that not even death can steal. To witness this is to be reminded of what really matters. Not wealth, not status, not accolades, but belonging to the one who made you, being known by him, being loved by him. In a world that measures success by numbers and noise, this silent, sacred moment stands as a powerful reminder. The greatest victories are the ones that happen in the unseen, in the places where only God and the soul meet. And in that meeting, everything is made new.